This is a reaction, so please support the original video. Please, watch the original video. I'm just reacting to it, and we're gonna talk over it a lot.
Well, I don't think even. Wait. You said Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my mind went to the Tears of the Kingdom thing.
Yeah, that's a sequel, not a DLC.
Yeah, I know. So, but then that begs the question: would they also add on to that?
True.
Their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Alright.
The Kingdom of Hyrule was in a state of calamity. The great blight that was Ganon, having thrown the land into despair.
They're using the Hero of the Wild.
It seems
away,
Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and Age of Calamity.
Back in the kingdom's prime, the name of Hyrule.
Alright.
So it's gonna add all three aspects.
Link. But even he couldn't stand to the forces of evil when they arose, and was mortally wounded. Fortunately, Hyrule had access to advanced Seeker technology, and would successfully transport Link into a healing chamber. Unfortunately, this process would take a century to undo the damage Link had sustained. And so, 100 years later, Link would return to the land of Hyrule, uniting the last holdouts of the once great empire and mastering the wild to drive out Ganon's power. Though, before he could take down Ganon, he'd need to get back into the swing of things. It'd been a while after all. He was still a masterful warrior, mind you, able to pick up and fight with basically any weapon he could get his hands on. From crude clubs and rusted swords to military-grade bows and shimmering golden axes, he fought tooth and nail through the world to reclaim both his old belongings and his own memories, while receiving blessings from the sages of the world to grow into a hero that could match Ganon. Aiding him on this quest was the Sheikah Slate, another piece of advanced technology that could produce all sorts of effects using magic. Not only can it alert him of nearby enemies and give him information about them, but it can produce explosions, freeze water, manipulate magnetism, and even lock things in time while letting them build up kinetic energy to send them flying. Eventually, he'd reacquire his old armaments, like the virtually indestructible Hylian shield that can parry and reflect all manner of attacks, even these deadly Guardian lasers, or giant boulders being flung at Link. And of course, the legendary Master Sword, the sword that seals the darkness. The Master Sword is an extremely powerful weapon that alerts Link when truly malevolent energy is afoot, and protects him from corruption, able to carve through monsters like butter and seal away the forces of evil within its power. And he'd need all the power he could get when going against Ganon. The guy can corrupt and move the whole freaking moon! Yeah, those blood moons, turns out they're not just natural phenomena. Ganon's physically causing them himself. He's able to physically move the moon around the sky, no problem, at one point even pulling it so close to the world that it dominates the sky. Doing something like that in the time frame it took Ganon would require over 10 Ronatons of TNT worth of energy. Fortunately for Link, he wasn't fighting alone. With the blessings of the past champions, he could channel all sorts of supernatural boons. He can call down lightning with Urbosa's fury, shield himself with Daruk's protection, fill the sails of his paraglider with Revali's gale, and even get a free second chance at life with Mipha's grace. And, if he needs more than one, his fairy jars can do the same, even against gloom that can tear souls out and rot people away. He's got a selection of potions as well, that he can use to enhance his abilities or heal himself, an assortment of specialty arrows, enchanted with fire, ice, and lightning. Even more impressive are the ancient arrows, long-forgotten pieces of technology that can instantly destroy any object they strike, reducing them to nothing. Eventually, Ganon would reach the apex of his power, returning as the great king of evil, Ganondorf. Though, Link would get some upgrades to match. After his arm got replaced by the arm of legendary King Rauru, he could channel even more magic than before. He could rise through surfaces above him, fuse objects together or telekinetically move them, rewind objects through time, and even summon the spirits of great warriors to aid him. Link can also slow his perception of time through sheer will, entering into a devastating flurry rush of attacks, or letting him precisely aim an arrow. Lightning, hell, even beams of light itself move in slow motion while Link swings away as fast as ever. The hero of Hyrule would clash blades with Ganondorf once more, finally destroying his evil and saving the land. Well, that is until next time. Ganondorf has a nasty habit of coming back every century or so, but that's a story for a different hero in a different time. This one, the hero of the wild had succeeded, and Hyrule would forever be grateful. The Gorons, the Zora, the Rito, and the Gerudo would all recognize and rally under the Hylian Knight, and his name would forever be sung. For when malice descends, one only needs the courage to stand against it, and Link is that courage personified, a shield over the land and a sword against the darkness. The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered, its shards claimed by demigods in the lands between. Vying for power, they would clash in the shattering, a battle so terrible that the greater will itself seemed to abandon the world. And now, in a time when the world seems lost in the maws of chaos, great heroes of the past have been returned to life by grace once more, all guided by one light, to become Elden Lord and unite the lands between. Hoarah, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask, Fia, the deathbed companion, the loathsome Dung Eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing, and one other, whom grace would again bless. Atonus
Hello.
Chosen by the greater will, this nobody would be destined to rise above the heroes around them and become Elden Lord. To this extent, they, along with the other newly revived Tonist, were blessed with grace by Queen Mary.
Will not even
This
be brought
grace guides
out
them
at
on
the
their
time in
quest
this video.
and will ensure they can keep fighting. Not only does the grace point them where to go, if a Tonist is slain, they'll be brought back to life by the grace, even if their body has been totally destroyed. While others were blessed with grace, the Tonist would prove the most capable. Good thing too, given any number of other Tonists were forsaken once they stopped being useful, and had their grace revoked from them for failing Marika or abandoning their quest. But this one was different. They were stronger, tougher, smarter, and more agile than any other. One by one, they'd assemble the swords of the ring, taking down the demigods as they went.
Link.
And they did
Link
this
versus the
with a
Tarnus.
huge selection of weapons and spells. Swords, bows, spears, axes,
Breath of the Wild.
The Hero of the Wild.
giant,
Oh boy.
fingers.
And Link
And
got
apparently
this.
they got
Even the iconic
Yeah.
Moonlight Greatsword,
because they also mixed in the
Surprise, it's back!
Breath of the Wild,
Just as
Tears of the
faithful
Kingdom,
and
as
strong
well as
and
Age of
energy as
Calamity.
ever. That's far from the Tonist's only way of slinging magic. They're a
Stupid
master
ass.
of both arcane and divine magic, letting them heal themselves, fire magic missiles, launch meteors,
Alright.
channel the elements, blast foes with holy light, and a whole
Hopefully I didn't get that in Korea. I don't know if that was
these
bad
spells
mouth.
are limited by the Tonist's focus, which they can
It was.
refill thanks to flasks. Said flasks
It had
are
the N-word.
for topping up on health, while their wondrous physics provide them with buffs. They can also summon their
It's right
spells
behind
with
you.
I know you had
torrent, or
recorded,
use a
too.
spirit calling bell to draw out
I didn't
the
think that you
spirit
didn't
asses,
see it.
letting them summon a
It's
whole
right behind
catalog
you.
of creatures and warriors from the past, or even create a copy of themselves with all
Hear
their
him.
capabilities. They
You,
can annihilate
Abyss, it's right
foes
behind
with
you.
devastating Comet Azure, manifest colossal, breath-spewing dragon heads,
Yes, it
call
is.
down storms of lightning, the list goes on. They
Hand it
can
to
also
me, I'll
inflict
delete it.
any number of status effects, like the crippling Scarlet Rot.
I
an
thank God
infection
for
that rots
I
the
thank
victim's
God for your
body away with
body.
acid,
I thank
or
God for your
madness
body
of the
blocking
frenzied flame,
it.
a type of supernatural fire that burns with unknowable destruction and can drive people into insanity. Not to mention the blood loss they can inflict, letting them deal devastating wounds on even the toughest opponents, provided they can get enough hits in. No, that should be no problem, given they can keep up with fighters like Radahn, who can slash at the speed of light with the, well, light speed slash. Some of the Tonist stuff can even channel the Rune of Destined Death, letting them not only kill victims, but destroy their souls. On their quest, the Tonist would have many paths to restoring the Elden Ring, guided by the Maiden Melina. Though, at the end of the day, the Tonist would reign as Elden Lord, one way or another, regardless of who they worked with. Well, usually. There's also the possibility of the Tonist becoming consort to Ranni the Witch, with her becoming Lord in their stead. Or, well, remember that frenzied flame stuff? The Tonist can choose to champion that as well, unleashing the true power of the fire to burn all the world away in chaos, wiping the slate clean and reducing it all to ashes with untold infernal destruction. Becoming the champion of frenzied flame is serious, given the last guy who fully embraced the flame ended up like, well, this, and the Tonist kicked the shit out of that guy. Assuming Midra here is working with the same power the Tonist wielded when they burned down the world, that's almost 3 exatons of TNT worth of energy in both their hands. So, will the world be saved, burnt away, or merely shift into a new, equally despair-filled era? That is up to you. Up to the Tonist to decide. That is what matters. Age after age, hero after hero, the Tonist of no renown will become a paradoxical title. And they will become immortalized one way or the other. Even if the world is burnt to ash, there may still be an ending in all of this. But if it exists, well, it's our struggle to reach it. That's ultimately what gives us meaning.
In our home, across the fog, the lands between.
Damn.
Our seed will look back upon us and recall the age of order.
First ever chastity belt.
Alright.
Alright, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities. It's time for a death battle!
Trying to the point.
Sending up the stairs opposite the throne, Link steps into the courtroom, search and clear, destroying the evil. Nosh holding eyes on them to the leader of Grand
There we go, Link.
The unseen grace, like Dragon's Knee. You bury your hands.
Alright.
Now that's an interesting thing.
Oh, damn. Oh, that's awesome.
Heyo! Man, you ever notice how many times a
Yeah,
character
which it was
seemingly
actually
losing
animated.
lives dies
And,
on
I
this
mean, they
show?
already got the
Both
got
these
the
websites
thing.
brought a lot to the table.
Yeah, they
They already
do.
got the plan. Yeah, they already got it planned out how it would look.
Link held
Look,
clear advantages. Being
look,
generous to the Tonus,
being very descriptive of it, you just need an animator who has time and patience to make that up all together.
Well, Link himself,
Yeah.
obviously isn't splitting worlds in two anytime soon. It's not a level of power he hasn't gone up against before. Similarly, while the Tonus could fight at light speeds, Link could perceive actual beams of light as moving in slow motion, making him comfortably faster as well. Though, these advantages meant squat if Link couldn't keep the Tonus down for good, something which Marika's Grace would make hard to guarantee. So let's move on to their abilities. To Tonus' credit, they had a lot of tricks up their sleeve, but Link ended up having perfect counters to just about anything they could throw his way. Driving him mad with the Frenzied Flame? Nope, the Master Sword can keep out corruption. Withering him with Scarlet Rot? Link can power and heal through Gloom that has virtually the same effect. Destroying his soul with Destined Death? Surprise! Gloom removes your soul as well, and Link's fairies can still restore him. Summoning spirits to fight for them? Oh hey, Link can do that too. Even the Tonist's means of bypassing durability, like blood loss, would likely be ineffective given how many hits they'd have to land on a massively faster opponent, and it would be far from an instant win either way. So, that brings us back to a million-dollar question. How does Link put down the Tonist? Well, it's actually unlikely Link can do anything to prevent the Tonist from using their Grace. However, what's not unlikely is the Tonist outright losing their Grace. Yeah, remember, the whole reason they have Grace is because Marika selected them as one of her champions. But we've seen before that repeated failures can cause her to revoke Grace, especially if a new or better candidate is available. We can see this with characters in Elden Ring like Rozier, who, after being deemed unable to fight, had his Grace revoked. Or Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing! Him, who'd eventually give up on his own quest and likewise lose his Grace. So, if Marika sees her supposed champion getting ragdolled around by someone who's just as valid a champion as her current one, yeah, odds are she's switching to the winning side, especially with Link having things like Ancient Arrows, which could completely annihilate the Tonus body in a single shot. While the Tonus could defy Marika entirely and become Lord of Frenzied Flame, this actually makes it much worse for them. Yeah, not only would it basically be an immediate loss of grace due to forsaking Marika, but becoming such an evil entity would leave them vulnerable to being sealed by the Master Sword. You know, the thing literally called the sword that seals the darkness. The Tonus was an unrelenting foe, but against Link's heroic might, blessed protections, and battle-hardened focus, their quest was cut short. The Tonus tried force, but... Wait, did I already use that one? Oh well, Link winning has a nice ring to it. The winner is Link.
All right.
If anything, that is actually. If anything, if
Oh. Next time on Fan Battle.
oh boy,
Oh my.
Chaos versus. Oh,
Oh.
I have no
You
idea.
might get copyright for this.
That's why I turned it down.
Lord Chaos versus Lord Vortec.
Lego Dimension
All right.
versus. Ain't no fucking way.
I mean, they're both okay. I mean, that's if anything, that is also an interesting battle between because it's from
Not too bad.
both
You can grab my
games
laptop.
that of
All right. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, that definitely okay. That definitely, I already know the connection to that because they're both from games that require you to buy different action figures to get the characters.
yeah.
Oh, that could,
And also involve like poor. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the Link versus Tarnish, that is a really thought out death battle, especially when they describe how the battle would go.
yeah. That's why I'm signing up. Continue.
It's and if anything, I actually would see this actually be something the actual official death battle would probably take. Preferably the one that they made, that the death battle had given.
Yeah.
They don't mix in other incarnations, but actually focus on one certain incarnation, like that being the wild incarnation.
Yeah, I definitely love that. Also, knowing for a fact that I'm showing it to Cross just to prove a point, because people say I was crazy when I say Link win against the Tarnis, and not even close. They brought up
Yeah.
most of the reason I have brought up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's also, yeah, it's fair. And the way they also explain the reasons, like, because if anything, I also think it was also because of the Master Sword, in a sense.
Yeah,
Like, the Master Sword is known as the bane of evil.
yeah. And
And the Tarnish's grace, it basically is just like a divinity that can easily be corrupted.
yeah, it can be corrupted, and even if he go corrupted route, he dead.
Yeah.
Like, he could, because the sword whole get, it's a still evil. So he was done for. No other way around it.
Yeah. He made one wrong move and he's done for.
And he was. Definitely.
Yeah. Mhm. All right. I think I'm gonna head off now.
All right.
Probably be back probably an hour a bit, just to like probably adjust my different cables, something like that. But if anything, I'll probably check back in like probably half an hour to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'll join back.
Okay. I'll be here.
Latest.
Later. Anyway. Thank you for sitting here and watching the video.